Hello, I'm Sarah Duncan, and on today's EdTPA Close-Up series, we're going to be looking at academic language. This is typically one of the most challenging concepts to grasp for those who are completing EdTPA, so let's dive in. Academic language is the oral or written language of the discipline necessary for students to engage in your content area. In Prompt 4, you'll identify the language demands in your learning segment. This includes the function, key vocabulary, and the syntax or discourse. Let's look at what each of these is. You will choose a key language function from your objectives that's essential to understanding your central focus. The language function is usually the action verb in your main objective. For language functions specific to your subject area, see page 12 in your handbook. Vocabulary is probably exactly what you are thinking, all of those unknown words that are new to students and require attention. I like to think of this final category as the expression of your language function. If you go back to your function, what will the evidence be that students can apply that function? That evidence will likely be the syntax or discourse that you describe in Prompt 4C. Syntax involves the conventions for organizing symbols, words, and phrases together into structures. Discourse includes the structures of written and oral language, as well as how members of the discipline talk, write, and participate in knowledge construction. It can be confusing to know which demand is in your learning segment, so let's look at an example. Let's say I'm doing a learning segment on summarizing nonfiction text. My language function would be summarize. My final assessment will be a summary paragraph about the text. This paragraph would be considered discourse. However, if I were working with younger students and only wanted them to write a single sentence, this would be considered syntax. Vocabulary would be words new to students within my nonfiction text. It could also be a concept like nonfiction if that's new to students. Be aware the handbook asks for a language function and syntax or discourse. You will also be asked to plan supports for your language demands. These should be whole class supports as well as support for individual students or groups of students with specific needs. See my video on student supports for more on this topic.